All right, I have sound, I think. It might be too loud. Hang on, I'm adjusting, because that's what I do, people. That's what I do. Anyways, I am Taylor. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel, or welcome to the internet for the very first time. Whatever. I review comic books. A lot of them. I do a weekly comic book review show, and then I also do a weekly trade paperback or graphic novel review show, and that's what this is. So I don't know how the heck you found me, because the YouTube algorithm seems to hate me, but welcome. I appreciate you being here. Please stay. I'm lonely and sad and cold on the inside, even though there's global warming on the outside. Yeah, okay, enough rambling. Stay tuned to the end of this video. I will reveal who won last week's book, CVO. So watch that. And also, stay tuned to figure out how you can win this week's book, Top 10, the 49ers. That's right, I'm giving this one away, people. I'm giving it away to you, the general public. Well, not all the general public. One person in the general public. So the specific public. Or the specific private, if you don't want to reveal who won it. I don't. Okay, yeah, I am just plain rambling on this one. And I'm not going to edit, because editing is for suckers and or people with a lot more ambition and or time than I have. Let's get into this. This is Top 10, the 49ers. Top 10, the 49ers. It's written by Alan Moore. Art by Gene Ha, with coloring by Art Lyon. And the coloring we'll talk about in a bit. And the art we'll talk about all of it in a bit, people. We'll talk about all of it. It's America's Best Comics. It's a trade paperback. It collects a couple issues of a Top 10, the 49ers. And I believe this... Okay, so the Top 10 is sort of a universe created by Alan Moore back when he was still doing comics. I think he got mad at everybody and now is living in a cave in Ireland or something. I don't know. But he's no longer really actively making comics. And this is not probably one of his major seminal works. I mean, you should know who Alan Moore is if you read any kind of comic books. He wrote Watchmen. He wrote V for Vendetta. You know, some of the greatest, considered the greatest comics ever. This is not that. but, this is not bad. Alan Moore on his worst day is a better writer than a lot of the fluffy nonsense that's out there today. And like, even when he's sort of maybe phoning it in, and I don't think he is. I even when in like a thing where I think he's just more trying to have fun and or play around with archetypes a bit more without necessarily having quite as many deep themes as he did in some of his other works. He's still a heck of a good writer, and I like this book. The short answer is, do I recommend this? Yes. Should you get it? Yes, if you can find it. I don't know if it's still in print. It's, I think, technically Image Comics. No, it's America's Best Comics, but I don't know if they're a sub-imprint of something else. They might be. They might be a sub-imprint of Image. I don't know. I don't. Researching is hard, people, and I didn't research, so I just kind of did. I'm just kind of doing this. It tells a story of the, well, not even really the 49ers. I think it takes place in a fictional universe in fictional 1949 after World War II. So there's a lot of similarities with this world and ours, except for there are science heroes and robots and vampires and, you know, all the tropey things you expect in Golden Age comics. So I guess it's really nothing like our world. Our world's pretty boring, and this is pretty exciting. And yeah, but Alan Moore does touch on, and we're going to get into minor little spoilers from here on out. He touches on things like racism and sexism and bigotry, sexual preference, and like, you know, coming out of the closet in post World War II, you know, era, and dealing with a lot of issues that probably were of the time that are still relevant today, but he's telling it from the perspective that it's taking place in 1949. So the language he uses might possibly offend people, but he's not writing, and I don't believe he's writing it to be offensive. He's writing it as if the characters existed in, you know, as if the story was told in this time. And he's not writing it from a perspective that, like, he himself is any of those things I mentioned. It's just calling out and telling it and using those things as part of this story. So if you're uncomfortable with that, I don't know what to tell you. Don't read this book. But as far as I know, Alan Moore is not a troublesome individual and does not hold any of those beliefs. Like, he's not a bigot, it's just, words are hard. Racist, bigot, sexist. I don't think he's any of those things, as far as I know. That could change tomorrow. This is a world where everything gets exposed online and Twitter, and somebody says something stupid, or, so, you know, reveals their true self, and then, yeah, who knows. But as of the recording of this video, which is, you know, coming out on November 9th, 2021, I think Alan Moore is still held in fairly high regard and has not done anything super jackassy or said anything super jackassy. I know that's a sort of a tangent, but it sort of applies to some of his writing because, like, you might initially think when you read this, you're like, oh my god, he used that word. However, I think it does make sense in the context of the story, and the story is told from the generally two people's perspective. Jetlad, Steve Traynor, and what's Sky Witch, and I can't remember Sky Witch's character's name. Sky Witch is a female operative who used to work for the Nazis and then turned and is now living in and now moved to Neapolis and met Jetlad, who's also just moved to Neapolis. Jetlad was a sidekick in World War II who was an 11-year-old ace pilot because this is the golden era. And, you know, the golden age of comics are talking about it. And so there was those 11-year-old, like, Robin-ish sidekicks, which are a little creepy, which I also sort of touch on in here, who is now 16. The world is over, and, like, Neapolis is being formed as a sort of refuge city / a city where they don't know where to put all these old, like, science heroes and golden age characters and robots and vampires and stuff. So they all made a new city and dumped them in Neapolis. So this is a newly formed or newly changed city of Neapolis. And the characters that are just moving here. And so you get the fresh set of eyes of Jetlad and Sky Witch. And Sky Witch ends up joining the police force, which is the top 10. Well, not really, but that's in the other series. The top 10 is basically refers to the police force in Neapolis, which takes place later down the timeline. And Jetlad does not end up joining the police force, but still gets caught up in shenanigans of the time, and, you know, adventure ensues. There's relationships that are pursued. There's awkward sexual tension. There's awkward sexual interactions. There's actual meaningful, heartfelt sexual interactions and relationship interactions in here. And, like, it does touch on, like, a lot of political stuff that actually is pretty relevant still today, while still managing to tell a pretty darn entertaining romp of a story. Like, Alan does a good job of balancing these things. He doesn't, like, make it just about, you know, exploring relationship or just about like talking about racism or you know, thinly veiled racism. He still tells a pretty entertaining tale about, like, you know, time travel and timey-wimey stuff and robots and adventure and, you know, coming to save the day and or not coming to save the day. I don't want to spoil all of it, but yeah, I mean, this is a great, not great, but this is a very good book and a very entertaining read. And I want someone else to read it, so I'm going to give it away. I'm going to talk about the art for a bit too. Gene Ha. Okay, and here's the thing. I'm not sure how the tasks are actually divided here. Artline is listed as the colorist, and Gene Ha is listed as the artist. And so I think Gene Ha definitely did the line work, but I also, from doing a little bit of research, Gene Ha does sometimes use, like, gray tone washes on some of his stuff, and it's hard to tell if he did that here. It really kind of is. I'm not sure if Artline did all of the painted backgrounds and stuff, or if some of it was Gene Ha. It's a muted color palette. It's a gorgeous book. I mean, it really is. And it's very clear storytelling-wise for the most part. There are a couple panels, like a minimal amount of panels, where you're like, what in the hell's going on? And you have to go back and, like, look. But on the whole, like, Gene does a great job making intricately designed and intricately drawn with heavily detailed backgrounds and locations that makes it feel believable, even though it's a ridiculous kind of, you know, post-sci-fi golden era world, and dynamic and fun, while using a subdued color palette and a muted, like, sort of aged tone, a sepia tone that kind of makes the book feel from a bit of a different era. It's for the most part a 6-panel grid, although it is split up a bit and stuff, but the grid is fairly rigid, and there's not a lot of deviation from it unless it's necessary for the story. There's not a ton of big splash pages, and there's not a ton of, you know, just over-the-top, like, art just for the sake of making, you know, art you can sell. And that's another thing you'll get with Alan Moore writing. He doesn't tend to, like artists, from my understanding, that are splashy and over the top and will do, like, big 1990s imagey kind of stuff. He wants an artist that'll stick to a grid and tell a story, and this sticks to a grid and tells a story. It is gorgeous, like I said, and I think Gene Ha's a master, and I think combined with Artline, this is one of the best books I've seen in a while as far as the art goes. Your mileage may vary. It's all, you know, obviously subjective. All art is subjective. All reviews are subjective. I don't even know why you're watching this. Just form your own opinions. Go get this thing and just stop watching YouTube. Get off of here. Go have a life. Kidding. Don't do that, because then if you do that, then I won't have any views, and then I'll be sad and I'll cry. But I think it's a great looking book. and I think it's a good story. It gets a little slow in the beginning and stuff, and it takes a little bit of ramping up. Like the first issue in here is not the most exciting issue, but it does a necessary job of setting everything up, and it's a kind of, honestly, not a slow burn because it's only 4 issues, but it's a sort of dense read. Like there's a good balance of image and story, but it does take a little bit of a while to get through. It's not like the quickest read because you kind of want to savor it. I think, and you'll want to, to just enjoy it. And like even though it's a little bit of a fluffy thing, and like I said, not Alan Moore's greatest work by any means, it's still very good and very worth reading. Now, how do you win this? I don't know. I haven't really thought about that. Let me see if I can figure out something on the fly. All right. A couple things. This is a sort of a standard to win any of the books that I give away. Please be subscribed to my channel. Please hit the notification bell so you know when these videos drop. I try to do these every Tuesday. And please hit the like button on this video. It helps the algorithm. And also, I ship these US only. I kind of can't afford to ship everything overseas. If you really want to pay extra overseas, let me know that in the comments, and sure, I will happily work with you if you really win this thing and you really want it, because this one's actually good and worth reading. But also, the last thing, in order to win it, leave a comment down below, just letting me know, I don't know, just let me know one of your favorite comic book writers. How about that? We'll go with that. That's an easy one. I think Alan Moore is a very important writer. I don't know if he's one of my favorites. That said, I mean, I like a lot of his stuff, but just let me know one of your favorites. That's all. Pretty easy. So, yeah, that's how you win the book. US only. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll pick the winner next week on, today's the 9th, so 9 and 8. It's November 17th. You have to watch this to figure out if you win. That's the other sort of key bit to this all. If you win it, I'm not going to get a hold of you. You have to watch next week's video to find out if you win. That way you have to keep watching the content. It's like it all just keeps rolling and tumbling and going downhill quickly, like most of my videos, somewhat of my life, and the world in general. So watch next week's video after you follow the steps, the super easy steps, and if you win this, I'll send it out to you. It's a little dinged up. I mean, it's got some corner stuff. It's not a perfect thing, but it's still very readable. It's a trade paperback also. So if you comment on this, either you can give it away, you can do whatever you want with it. I don't care, but I would hope you would read it because it's worth it. So as far as who won last week's video, that would be Cole's Comic Claims. I pointed in the right direction. I'm getting better, people. It's always out. I usually point in the wrong direction, so because I'm a moron. And also the flip screen in reverse. I can't. When you see yourself in a mirror, I always look surprised when I see myself in film too, or on camera, because it's like, oh, I see myself backwards in my eye. I just kind of slow like that, and bear with me. But anyways, Cole's Comic Claims. Cole, hit me up if you watch this far, and I'll get it out to you, see? And I even know Cole. I'm kind of friends with Cole. Cole's a great person. But I'm not going to notify him because I want him to watch this video. That's the trick of it all. So if he watches this video, he wins CVO, and I'll send it out to him. If not, it'll sit on the other stack of the books that I have that have not shipped out because people haven't claimed them. So there you have it. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot. I honestly, I never... I never thought my channel would turn into anything where people watch it and actually value my opinion or want to fight with my opinion. The fighting with my opinion didn't really surprise me because, like, who wouldn't want to argue opinions? It's America. Everyone fights with everybody with everything. But the fact that anyone watches any of these videos always does kind of surprise me. And I'm humbled. And I know that I have some dedicated people that watch almost everything I do, and that does mean a lot. And so it's not, I would love to have more of you, but I am appreciative. Greatly appreciative of everybody that does tune in. It helps, and it helps me get me through my week. Honestly, like this YouTube thing has turned into something where I look forward to doing it, and I look forward to having interactions in the comments, and look forward to all of it. And it's a strange world where that's the case, but that's kind of where I am. And so thank you so much. And as always, don't be a dick, even if you're somehow living in post-World War II fictional city and you're a robot or a vampire or ex-sidekick. I don't know. Just don't be a dick. All right, that's a stupid ending, but whatever. Have a good day.